My theme is persistent, ladies and gentlemen. My theme is persistent. And the theme that I have for you is very simply this. We are in the midst of a revolution. We are in the midst of a revolution. And it is a cultural revolution. And it is a revolution that people do not want to deal with, people do not want to address, and I understand completely. When you talk about things like this, it is antithetical to the notion that people have that everything is groovy. People love the idea of pretending that everything is groovy, everything is wonderful, everything is great, everything is fantastic. That there's nothing to be concerned about, nothing to be concerned. Everything is wonderful. This is great. This is terrific. Wonderful times. No need to worry. No need to in any way be concerned about this stuff. Don't worry about this. Everything is just fine. We're America. We always pull through. We never have to worry about these things. And the reason why we never have to worry about these things is because for some reason we are blessed by God. We are exceptional. We are people who don't have to worry about these things. We never have to concern ourselves with behavior such as this because we are, well, we're lucky. We're lucky and we're great and we're glorious and we're blessed and everything is terrific and there's no reason to worry about any of this. We really believe this. I hate to say it, we really believe this. We believe it to be true. And we believe it to be true for reasons that I could talk about forever. I can give you all kinds of psychological reasons why that's true. I can give you all kinds of explications and theories as to why that happens. I don't think you want to hear them, but I could if that makes you happy. But does that mean anything to you? Not really. I know how we are. We're a good people. But we don't like to hear words like revolution. And we also don't like to hear things that are not necessarily, well, not necessarily positive, okay? And that's the part that really scares people a lot. It scares people a lot. And the reason why it scares people a lot is very, very simply this. We've never, ever felt, for the most part, that we really could get involved in things. You see, when I grew up and you grew up, most of us, we kind of lived in a world that was sort of like, well, I don't know what the word is. It was just kind of, we just observed it. You know, we were kids growing up. We had, Huntley and Brinkley and Walter Cronkite, and that's it. And we said, boy, that was terrible. That war is terrible. Well, let's just hope they come to their senses. Let's hope they come to their senses because this is a terrible thing. And we'll write some songs and we'll have protests and we'll have peace signs and we'll do a lot of stuff. But we'll hope to God they come to their senses. We hope that they do something. My God. This has got to end. And eventually, it's not that they came, we forced their hand. Okay? That's the way it is. We forced their hand. And it's the way we did it, but now we're not really sure what because there's too many things going on. And we now have social media. And for those of you who are watching me, you're aware of the social media aspects of this. You're aware of the social media aspect. And the reason why social media matters is because we never had this before in your lives. And you're aware of things. You know people. You know things. You understand names of people. I mean, I was doing something the other day on WABC, and I got the distinct impression that there were some people, I don't know how many, but who did not know who Candace Owens was. Really didn't, I mean, not out of ignorance, but it just wasn't. It's like if I told you some bebop jazz stars, I don't think you might know who they are, not because you're stupid, but because that was never something that you cared for. I think that's kind of where we are right now. So we always have to remember, we say these things, we're this way, but this is a different story, okay? Now, this evening, I want to make sure I get to you first before we do this. Mrs. Alden and I are going to a black tie event. And she looks radiant. I will put her pictures up later. If she were to walk into the into our Flintstone studio right now, she would destroy the camera. Everything would explode by virtue of her radiance, her pulchritude, unmatched, unmarbled, unparalleled. So we'll put some pictures up for you later on. I, of course, minimalistic, minimal, very basic, very conservative, very. How many of you gentlemen own a tuxedo? Raise your hand. If you buy one tuxedo, one time, and provided you don't go through, huge, my thing was always like weight gain. I'm not going to invest. But if you buy it one time, it'll make your money back. One time. You're going to wear a tuxedo one time. I know nobody, but it's the best investment you can make. And the quality that's available right now is unbelievable. Nobody ever goes up to a tuxedo and looks and sees the touch. No, stop it. Anyway, so that's that. But as well, we are here in New York City waiting for a nor'easter or something, which I don't believe, because whenever they tell us there's going to be this attack, it never happens. It never happens. Or it doesn't happen as bad as they say. So let me go back to what's going on right now. We are in the midst right now of something which is so colossal, so immense. I'm seeing it all over the place. Did you say, what was, honey, that the First Lady's meeting with Putin directly?
She did a press conference this morning. She told the world about it.
The most incredible thing in the world. This president is going to bring, I want to say, peace to the world. Now, remember, I know people. There are naysayers. There are Cassandras. There are people who don't want to believe. I know. You have to ask yourself this question. When you get good news, when you find out that grandma's doing better in the hospital, when you find out that she's doing better blood work, or she seems to be making improvement, do you come in with statistics and say, well, that's what they said last time, but a lot of times people in this particular condition, you watch that though. You watch it could go south anytime. Nobody does that. But that's what we do. We're naysayers. I don't want to keep saying Cassandras because we're not really Cassandra, because nobody has rejected our prophecies yet. But why do we do that? What is the purpose of this? What is the purpose of this? Why do we do this? Why do we go out of their way? Trump is sending troops to Gaza. People are saying, false flag. Here comes a false flag. Wait a minute. This man does everybody, am I the only one who does not want to see peace here? And the first step of peace is everybody saying, okay, that's it. Ceasefire, whatever the particular mechanism is not to keep rehashing. It's like there are people, I swear, if I didn't know better, they don't want the world to get better because their YouTube channels would collapse. What are you going to say? What are you going to say? Beware of this. This man does things sometimes that I think are kind of boneheaded. He's taking COVID vaccine, doing on, okay, all right. Did you see this story? Did you see this? Everybody's going, people are going nuts about this. He's going crazy. The president was administered COVID boosters and flu shots during his Walter Reed thing. Why are people going crazy with it? Why are people going crazy? Why? Seriously. I'm listening to people and it sounds, they act as though he's somehow what? Are we losing? We really need to kind of pump the brakes a little bit. Trump's going to hit 80 or is going to hit 80. I don't even know his age. What is he, 79? I have no idea. Here's a guy who is, he is correct. Trump's 79. He's 79, has the cardiac age of a 65-year-old. Okay, look. What do you want him to say? What do you want him to say? What do you want his doctor to say? Well, He's morbidly obese. Stop it. We just went through 4 years, and by the way, it looks like Biden is really bad. Either that or he's Sicilian flu bound. One of the two. I don't know, but it looks like he's really, really, really much iller than we thought, or something else. But this is a guy who was, for all practical purposes, beyond gone neurologically, and oh my God, it was horrid, absolutely horrid. And Trump is still doing so much better. Let me ask you a question, quick question. Do you think our people can ever be satisfied? Answer me this question, yes or no. Do you think we'll ever be satisfied? Have we ever been happy about anything? I'm dead serious about this. I'm not trying to be cute. Is there anything that has ever been, have we ever been elated, or are we in this perpetual pissed off stage constantly? Why do we do that? Seriously, do you think we've ever been excited about anything? There's a lot to be happy about, but because there's a revolution coming. And the revolution doesn't mean it's going to be bloody. Oh, and I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying it's going to be good. Mrs. L yesterday was at an event. It was so terrific. What's the name of it again? What was it again? She can't hear me. What was the name of your event yesterday? ANSA or no? Project Healthy Mind. The Archwell Foundation. This is Harry and Meghan. It's fantastic. People were. It was one of the most well-organized things you have ever seen in your life. Young people saying, we want to get off these texts. We want to be off this. We want to be done with this. We want to be through with this. We want to be away from this, from the world that we're in terms of tech, supremacy and indoctrination. It's absolutely incredible. And what is so important, is so really critical and so necessary, was that be shown. They want people, kids, young people right now. Remember, Turning Point USA, that thing, don't be surprised. I hope it's not. I think that's going to be dead. I think without Charlie Kirk, it's going to be gone. I don't think Erica, look, I can guess all I want about, what's her motivation? Is she legit? Was she bought off? You want to do that? You can come up with any scenario you want. See, there's a lot of us, yes, granted, many of us have been, by virtue of the world that we live in, we have been chastened greatly by how bad things are. And we've lived through, but we always suspect things that, but there's no evidence of it. We just expect something. If your child is running late and you said, I told her to be home at 10 and it's 10:30, I don't think thinking alien abduction is necessarily, it's not out of the question, but I think you probably, you might not want to go there right away. And there's an old expression in the world of medical schools. When you hear hoofbeats, do not think zebra. So the good news is that. Now the bad news is that Antifa is what we have been talking about forever. We are talking about full-scale preparations for civil unrest, civil war, whatever you want to call it. Okay? Now, I don't know how to tell you this. I'm going to say it one more time, and I think you're smart, and I think you got it. But I have been talking about these wonderful people. I prepare with Lionel for you very, very quickly. And if you do not have 3 months supply of emergency food in your garage or in your closet, you could have in your closet, you'd be surprised. They're beautifully stacked. I don't know what people think this is, how big this is. It is far more storable than anything you can imagine. You've got to start now. And once you say, yeah, I've got it, it's there. Then you might want to add on later on, for example, water purification or generators. That's up to you. But just in terms of food, just plain old emergency, delicious food, okay? 2,000 calories a day, 22 varieties, with a 25-year shelf life. This is it. Start with this. It's simple. Go to preparewithlionel.com. Start right now, and you can secure your free 4-week emergency food kit as an enticement. That's it. That's it. Food stacked. There it is. Done. Finished. Release the hounds of hell. It's done. If the store's closed, if whatever, you have got it there. And we're not talking some weird hardtack and beef jerky. We're talking food you can't believe. Go to the site. Go to preparewithlionel.com. Read it. You're not going to believe it. These people at My Patriot Supply do nothing but imagine disaster and make it tasty. Okay? That's it. No hard sell. You're smart. You know what to do. Okay? Okay. Let's talk about Antifa. First, you must go, my dear friends, and you must go and you must see, my dear friends, how do I say this? You must look at the attempts online to minimize Antifa. You must. Keith Ellison, everybody. Oh, come on, the Proud Boys are worse. January 6th, there is no Antifa. As soon as they tell me that, that's it. There's Antifa. Watch what they do. They are scared. And all they know what to do. Listen to me. This is how good we are. All they know what to do is to unleash their usual suspects, to go on Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel is doing two things. First, he's trying to beg Trump to come on because he doesn't have it. He had that spike when he returned from whatever his little suspension or hiatus was, and now he's back, and he's trying most desperately to say, what do I do now? What do I do? What do I do? Because you needed Trump. You needed Trump to perpetuate what you did. See, that's the bottom line. I've told you this before a million times. How many of you remember Von Meter? Von Meter was the JFK impersonator in the 60s, obviously during 60s, and he was known for doing what they thought was a dead-on imitation of JFK, and they loved it. First Family was the album. Everybody had it. Everybody had First Family. First Family was the album. That was the album, First Family, and it was Von Meter. When JFK was killed, that ended the career of Von Meter. That was it. It was done. Von Meter was through. You understand that? Done. Period. That's Jimmy Kimmel. When Trump is gone, that's it. That's it. Do you understand this? This is the most important thing. This is the most important thing, and I mean this sincerely. You have to understand something. Without Trump, there's nothing there. I'm going to go a step further. If there is, and we hope there is, if there is a qualified, actual, verifiable peace in the Middle East, if Israel, Palestine, Gaza, whoever, Hamas, are able to put down their arms and to at least proceed with something that we all consider to be and recognize to be a valid and bona fide attempt at peace, do you realize what some people are going to say? What are you going to do? Let me give you an example. of this. Well, let's say just assume arguendo, there's something. We all applaud and laud, and you have people in, Jan Kudas and they're clapping and laughing, and Gaza, and it's actually bona fide, beautiful. Everybody's happy. Everybody is beyond thrilled. Okay, let's just assume this to be true. Okay. What's Candace Owens going to do? Now, hear me out. Candace Owens says, I got this text from Charlie Kirk, and Charlie Kirk said that he was going to by the way, Charlie Kirk, I hate to say it, we've already forgotten Charlie Kirk. I hate to say this. You agree with me? You know it's true. It doesn't matter. Say, oh, that was sad. Next. Like he never occurred. It's like there's so much new information. We don't have time to mourn. You don't have time. You can swear that your life has been derailed. You can swear that your life has been forever affected by it. But for the rest of the people, they don't really know anything about Charlie. It's just not there. And Erica Kirk, and you can hear they'll say that there are so many moves for opening chapters at Turning Point. And to show you how Turning Point is a really no concern, you're not seeing a rush of people you're not seeing like the Ben Shapiros and others trying. Remember that creepy kid, Llewellyn Brindlestad, or whatever the hell his name was? I don't know who he was. He was this really weird twink. I don't know who this guy was, but it was weird. And he just was strange with his Rolex on a private plane. And what are you doing? That lasted about an hour. And then they realized, you know what? I think this talking point's dead. The hell with it. And that's exactly what happened. They just didn't care about it anymore. It's of no concern. And I'm not, remember, when I tell you something, it doesn't mean I'm happy about it. It's of no concern. Charlie Kirk was it. So going back to Candace Owens. So let's say she says, I got these texts from, or I talked to him, and Charlie said, I've been put under a lot of pressure and I'm going to lose funding. And now we say, Candace, what does that matter now? Hypothetically, there's peace in the Middle East. Why are you bringing this up now? Yeah, but there's peace in the Middle East. Can you at least wait for this to happen? Can you at least wait for hostages and people to be received and let families reunite? This is what they're going to say. Now, you may not agree with this. It doesn't really matter. But this is what they're going to say. And it's a great point. It's a tremendous point. They're going to say this. And you're going to, okay. And Max Blumenthal is going to be great. Max says, well, with the Nakba, you're going to bring up the Balfour Declaration now? You're right about that. You've already said this. We know about Miriam Adelson, and AIPAC. But now, are you going to bring this up now? Can we just wait a little bit? Can we just? That's exactly what's going to happen. That's exactly what's going to happen. And people are going to say, wait a minute. Is there anything that will make you happy? Well, no. Some people, and by the way, Candace has gone so far off she and I'm saying this right now, with all due respect, Tucker, have absolutely lost all, how do I say this? Maybe not so much, less Tucker, but they have worked themselves into a frenzy over Bibi. They've lost their minds. And it's indicative of where we are today. They have lost their minds. Now, I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to argue any of this stuff. But whether it's climate change, whether it's Bibi, whether it's Nancy Pelosi, whether it's whatever it is, it seems like everything that we have is turned up. the volume is turned up at such levels that we can't see straight. This Anna Kasparian and Junk Yogurt, they're going crazy. Abby Martin screaming. Even during Vietnam. So what I'm saying is, the revolution is already changing right here. And what I'm telling you, there is going to be, out of this rise, a lot of people who are going to say, excuse me, we've got to tone this down. There's a lot of these Tim Pools out there, and everybody wants to get mad, and the Destinies and the whatever it is. Let's go back and let's focus. Is there anybody in charge here? No, apparently not. Imagine going to a university where there's no course curricula. You just keep taking classes and you're saying, what am I doing with this? Do I have a degree? What am I doing? I'm taking that. That was interesting. Well, what good is this going to do? You know what I'm saying? What good is this? So the question remains. We need to focus. Who's going to be our focus? Who is going to tell us, all right, class, let's pay attention to this. Let me tell you what's not the story. Bad Bunny. We have the biggest problem. We jump at stuff and lose our minds. I'm not saying that we have no reason to be upset, but we have lost our minds. Oh my God. Oh my God, it's Cinderella. Oh my God. You got to come in here and just give him a peek of this. Oh my Lord. Am I the luckiest man in the world? So right now, the focus is, number one, Antifa. Number two, believe it or not, is Letitia James. Not out of spite. Not just because we don't like her or she's ugly. People just make fun of her weight. It's like, no, stop it. I'm not interested in that. What does she mean? Why is this important? Why are they going on CNN? I think it was or MSDNC. I don't know. I didn't watch. I just saw the clip. Somebody actually said, mortgage fraud is no big deal. Everybody does it. Everybody does it. That was a quote from the same woman, Letitia James, who said, no one is above the law. She said this regarding Trump, regarding two cases, the NDA case with the dirty saddles, whatever that porn chanteuse is, and the second one was something to the effect of his case with Judge Engoron and Letitia James, which I still don't even understand what that was about. There are people coming forward. Sam, is it Ashtar? He used to be Crazy Eddie, and he has become kind of like a civilian fraud detective. And they are unveiling and unraveling everything that Tish James did that is just unbelievable. And the reason why this is important is because she shows that she is emblematic of this incredible arrogance to the law. She's got to be brought down. She's got to be brought down. And but it's going to be a very short-lived, not lived, lived. It's going to be short-lived in terms of its importance. That's okay. Make sure Trump gets somebody watching this. Halligan, who I think she is there. Again, she loves the model shots. Look how, remember that commercial? There's a girl, they call her Charlie. It was Bobby Short. I think it was Shelley Hack. Remember that? There's a girl, and they call her Charlie. And she's running up and down the courthouse steps, or she's a reporter with a micro. I don't know what else. She's kind of like Mary Tyler Moore or something. That's what they're making this Halligan out to be. They love these stories. They love the, think, okay, that's okay, as long as she knows what she's doing, as long as she's bloodthirsty. The Antifa story is so critical, so big, bigger than anything you could ever even imagine, because they're going to get to the bottom of this. And they're also going towards other things as well. If the president can bring, and I believe he's going to bring not peace, but our disentanglement in Ukraine. It is absolutely genius. Let me tell you about the president. I think you've noticed this. First, I don't know what he does sometimes. I mean, I don't know what he thinks. I don't know. He just like makes his mind, he changes his mind like that. One day he'll come in. I'll say, yeah, I'm done with that. Yeah, but you were, yeah, whatever. I don't know what Bobby Kennedy's doing. Do you? Do you know? Do you know what Bobby's doing? I don't know. You think they told Bobby, all right, that's a no. Look who it is. There's Big Dick from Chi-Town says, MSNBC said that quote about mortgage. I just blocked it on here prior to joining you today. Oh, yeah. Oh, MSNBC, yes. Love you, Uncle Lenny, Mrs. L, Lionel Nation. Thank you. Thank you, Dickie. You are the best, my friend. By the way, tomorrow or Monday is Columbus Day. We'll talk about Columbus Day, what that means, which nobody knows anything about it. But it's a big deal. We're doing a big Columbus Day thing here. It's huge in New York. We still have a Columbus Circle, the statue of Columbus, Cristoforo Colombo. And of course, every year is the perennial story about. Here's Carla. Carla Jones just says, amid a field of the inept, that Trump emerges as the most capable, the best one could possibly hope for. Absolutely. You know what? He has this, and thank you, by the way, Carla. He has this. He has this thing where he just. I don't know. I don't want to talk about this, but after he's gone, I don't know what's. I could list you so many things that I disagree with, areas that I think we should have gotten away from, moments of I don't know what the word is, moments of disappointment, perhaps, maybe. But if you took all of those and stacked them up, put them in a pile, they're outweighed by the good and by the direction of this country. That's the most important. Now, what we need to worry about is we need to figure a couple of things too. This week I'm going to be having on, I think I've told you about this. There is something that is happening collectively in terms of mental health. Okay? There is something that is very, very, very scary involving mental health. How many of you, dear friends, have noticed in the past, 5 years? I'd say it's been more than that, but let's just make it easy, 5 years, that you are seeing more and more and more of levels of inexplicable behavior, unbridled, uncontrolled, just intemperate violence that you never thought even remotely possible. How many of you are noticing that? How many of you, dear friends? How many? I'm just curious. Have you noticed on TV? There was a woman today, Mrs. Ellis said, where was it? The woman who was, at a PetSmart, she opened the door for somebody else, for another woman, and because the recipient of this inordinate kindness did not say thank you, she was beaten. Shot and killed. Excuse me. I'd be a good newsman, wouldn't I? Miss the lead of that story. What? We're seeing something. Now I want you to put this over here, okay? I want you to put this here, like a set of symptoms. Next, everywhere we go, everywhere, Islamism. Remember when there was a perfusion, a tidal wave, a tsunami, ladies and gentlemen, of the transgendered world? Do you remember when all of a sudden, out of everywhere, out of everywhere came this sense of, for lack of a better word, a tsunami of Islamism. Dearborn, Michigan. I saw one in Philadelphia. Do you follow Radio Genoa? You're not going to believe it. Rome. My friend just said, I'm sorry to say this, and with all due respect, I don't like traveling to begin with, but I have never, ever enjoyed or felt like I've got to go see other cultures. I just don't. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm a dimwit. Maybe I'm a dullard. Maybe I'm a boorish chuff, a churl. Maybe I'm somebody who's not as sophisticated. I don't know. Could very well be. So my friend says, he and his wife, they said, we went to a wedding and we said, you know what, let me do 12 days in Rome. He said, it was a shithole, to use President Trump's term. He said, what is this? He says, the food, first of all, any food he gets there, you can get here. And better. It's touristy to the point, but the insinuation and the contamination and the liquidation of the Roman culture with perfusions, extravasations, with this imbued, these avalanches of humanity from Morocco and Africa and Islam. Islamism is spreading. They don't want to just move. They've gotten the signal. We don't want you to live quietly and peacefully among the Pittsburghers or the people from Dayton or no. We want you to take over everything. City council, police, administrative, parking, mayor. And we want there to be a complete and total inversion of the culture. This is everywhere. It's not just here. So understand what is happening. There are various tsunamis. This was seen initially part and parcel with this flood, obviously, of folks from around the world, and et cetera, et cetera. Then the illegal aliens. Then this flood of transgendered, gay, changing schools and curricula and all of this stuff. All of this stuff. This is the most important thing of them all, which is the most critical. And do you see what's happening? Then we're seeing Antifa gearing up to move in because there is a civil war. What does a civil war mean? It doesn't mean a battle between people within the city. It means a war against tradition. Carla says, we are all infidels in their eyes. We need the Knights Templar back. There may be, Carla calls for a form of, and thank you, calls for a form of, almost like we need a Torquemada. I don't want to say the Inquisition or anything, or the Crusades, but we are losing it. We are losing our minds. Do you understand what is happening here, my friends? Do you? Yes, you do. You grasp it more than anything. You know exactly what we're talking about. You see it and you know it and you understand it. And what's important more than anything else is that you recognize the fact of what's happening. Now they're going to tell you, listen to what I'm saying. They're going to tell you that you are yet again this horrible, I don't know what the word is. You're this terrible person who is bound by hate. That you are this person who is involved in hate, that you are Islamophobic, you're a nativist, you're a white supremacist. They're shutting you down. You don't understand. You're a bad, bad person. You spew this. They're going after our freedom of speech and our culture. Let me say this one more thing, which is important, which I'm going to say to you forever and ever. I have always had a soft spot in my heart for the great Mike Lindell from mypillow.com. For some reason, Mike Lindell is alive and well. He has withstood, much like Alex is in the fight for his life. Alex Jones is going to end up being, remember what I'm telling you, more important than any of the folks we've seen. Take all the podcasters, take everybody you love, from Joe Rogan to just everybody. That is the most important. He is the most important. Not only what he says, but what he represents. And mypillow.com, Mike Lindell thought, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to have a company. I'm going to put all of this stuff. He made a company out of nowhere. He built it. My Pillow, everybody loved My Pillow. I remember going to Bed Bath & Beyond, which is no longer in existence, but these big bins, these pillows that people loved, and the slippers. And then Mike decided, well, I'm going to speak my mind. And they said no, because they love to put a scalp on a wall. They don't really care what you say, really. They just want to say, we got him, we got him, we got him. There's a lot of people from X and now, well, YouTube or Twitter, then who just never came back. Never came back. They just went away. And people that got him with the COVID stuff, or they got him with this or that. And Mike Lindell was one. Well, Mike's back. And I want you to go to mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. You get a free gift for some of the greatest products available. I'm not asking you just to donate to this man because he's a charity. No. It's a business that you must enjoy, that you must take advantage of, that you must be a part of. mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. Go there and support this great man. And I'm telling you, once you get, I like the bolsters, those little bolsters. They take whatever your pillows are and they fine tune them. Okay, those are my favorites. And the slippers, mypillow.com. That's it. Period. I love these people. Let me tell you right now, Alex is in the fight for his life. I this morning, Mrs. Allen and I were listening to him. I said, listen to him right now. And of course, he yells and sometimes he says something, which is fine. I don't care. He's like Elmer Gantry or Face in the Crowd or Burt Lancaster, Andy Griffith. By the way, Face in the Crowd. Andy Griffith, you will not. He was such a good actor. He is evil. That was really Rush Limbaugh and every other, from Father Coughlin to, anyway, I'm not putting the two together. Anyway. And he was going through these examples that you have to hear in succession. And one of them was the number of people who said that they wanted to defund the police. But when somebody came to their house, there was one lawmaker, one official somewhere who was so upset because the police said, we can't come to your house because you cut funding. We don't have available resources. He raised such a stink. He demanded a 24-hour manned private security. And the hypocrisy was shown up. I never saw this anyplace else except for Alex. Never saw it. Never. Because you need long form. And the key to our success is information. And information from the stuff that you need. If I sat in news programs, if I sat in, and by the way, that information might be nothing more than, here's a new way to think, a new way to, imagine things. I could listen to most television programs or news shows or whatever, and just, and if I said, listen, anytime I hear anything involving something really shocking, I'll, hit a studio, a stadium horn or something, and I'll make some noise. I'll do something to let you know you did something there. We're in the middle of this incredibly sad arc, this circular reasoning. As you know, in the city of New York, we have 3 people in a titular way, acting as candidates for the office of mayor. Zoran Mamdani, Andrew Cuomo, and Curtis Sliwa. Curtis Sliwa is a Republican. Mamdani is a Democrat. And Cuomo is I don't know what the hell he is. Who knows? An independent, who knows? Make a long story very, very, very short. There is this race going on. Now, in the city of New York, if you're a Republican, you're doomed. You don't have the votes. They're just not here. Portland, Oregon, not a good place for Republicans. Philly, not a good place. You could be the greatest thing in the world, but if you forget it. They're just not there. If you're a Democrat and you're on Staten Island, not good. Staten Island is Republican. You see how that works? See how that works? There are places in Florida, if you want to go to Polk County, like Grady Judd is, Lakeland, good luck if you're some Antifa loving whatever. It's just the way it is. That's the people who are there. Okay. So Curtis Sliwa, who I personally think that would be my choice. I would feel the best with Curtis, not because I've known him for over 30 years, but because of the fact that he just would be the best candidate there is. Bar none. Bar none. Absolutely. He's not going to win. And he's not going to win because of being a naysayer. He's not going to win because I'm dooming. No, he's just not going to win. If there were a marathon tomorrow, I am not going to finish the marathon. And if you told me, you're not going to finish the marathon, I'd say, there you go again. You're negative. You're a doomsayer. And you would say, no, you're just not going to run. You're not going to finish it. At this point, it could be a mile. I have no idea. But the point is, that's reality. That's reality. I want to be the center for the Knickerbockers, the New York Knicks. Sorry, you're not going to do that. There you go again. You're negative. This is the way it is. Curtis Sliwa cannot win. Cannot. It's a nice symbolic vote. You're entitled to vote that way if you want. And a while ago, I'd say, you know what? Because we had Eric Adams, who was just the most incompetent oaf ever. He was just, he was an embarrassment. And everybody knew it. And they told him, let's get him out because, this guy's corrupt. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So now people are saying, Curtis, as bad as it sounds, for the betterment of the city, to stop Mamdani, who has to be stopped, legally and properly. People today in this country, people are so crazy. You say you got to stop them. And say, wait. Be careful. Anyway, you really have to step down, and I predict he will. For the good of the city, he has to do this. Take your support and say, listen, folks, hold your nose and vote for Andrew Cuomo. That's it. However bad he is, however bad he was, whatever bad he did, whatever the allegations, I am sorry, is better than this guy. He's not even giving you 10% of what he's going to do, and the 8.5% or 5% of what he's told you he's going to do is horrible enough. This is a reality. I'm a realist. I don't care about what should be, and people have this absolute childish way of thinking where they say, you're a doomsayer, you're a Cassandra, you're this negative thing. No, do you not understand what's going on? If you vote for Curtis Sliwa and take those votes, which are not going anywhere, and you take them away from Cuomo, who, as bad as he is, and I despise him, But I'm going to end up voting for Andrew Cuomo. Sorry. Our good friend says, so is that to say LA is next in circular dissension? Chicago needs a revolving door Republican? I don't know. It's a very good way of looking at it. LA, I think, is gone. I don't know if there's any help for that. And I don't know what can be done for Chicago other than to arrest somebody. But I don't think any of the leaders have committed any crimes. I mean, they may have been bad. But thank you for that. So let me go back again. Let me just explain something to you. You want to live in pie in the sky? Go ahead. Be my guest. You want to live in a world of, if I vote for him, my vote will cause for Curtis, my vote will cause such a positive energy move, such a move, such a swing, such an inspiration of energy that the people of New York will get it through their head. They'll wake up and they'll say, wait a minute, what are we thinking? We need Curtis. We need a law and order, practical, honest. And he's as honest. I don't think there is a corrupt bone in his body. I think his whole life has been about public service and self-promotion. But then again, that's you have to promote yourself unless you want to get ahead. If nobody's heard of you, what good can you possibly do? But that being said, they're living in a pipe world, a dream world. They're living in some kind of a pipe dream, I should. They're imagining. And and Cuomo is at least approachable. He's practical enough and a politician enough to be approached, to be talked to. Mamdani isn't. Because remember, Mamdani is a sock puppet. It's the hand in the sock that we don't know who he is. He's central casting. Did you see him with Mehdi Hassan on Zateo or I saw it was a clip? It's like, even Hassan realized, oh my God, this guy, yes, they don't know what he's talking about. He's not really a Muslim. He's not really okay. Oh, I'm getting the high side from Mrs. L. She said, we got to go. So anyway, that's where that is. Make your own. Thank you so much. Carla, thank you so much, dear friend, dear friend. And Make and Carla. And yes, thank you so much for your big dickie from Chicago, Chi-Town. I wish they could see a little bit of that. Ooh-wee. Huh? Okay. Well, we'll put some pictures up tomorrow. Ooh la la. C'est soir. All right, my friends. Have a great and a glorious night. Be very, very safe. Thank you so much for honoring me with you taking time out of your day to join us. We will be back tomorrow as usual, following our full stuff. In any event, thank you. Thank you for who you are, what you are, and what you stand for. We love you. All right, my friends. Have a great and glorious night. Remember, monkey's dead. Show's over. Sue ya. Da-da.